Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. As you guys might know already, we are on a Marie Kondo and KonMari method month, or maybe 2 months if it goes that long. And so the last two videos have been an overview, and then yesterday's was the top 10 reasons why I love Marie Kondo and the KonMari method. So check those out first if you haven't already seen them. And again, hello, my name is Jaime. I am the J Loves, where I share all the things that I love, because if I love it, maybe you will love it too. And of course, sharing is caring. So today we're continuing on with some background, because we're gonna eventually get to the part where we are doing the tidying festival together, but we're gonna work up to that, right? We're getting some overview, we're getting adjusted, we're gonna get into the groove of this. So a couple more days here of some overview. And today we're gonna talk about the 6 rules of tidying from Marie Kondo. I'm also gonna link in the description. She's got I don't know if they're web pages basically of articles of the different rules. So I'm just gonna touch on them pretty quickly here, hopefully pretty quickly. All right, so the first one is to commit yourself to tidying up. So I and Natalie, of course, we're going to be doing this with you guys. So we're going to have to take this very first step. And it's just one of those things that it's natural to like skip something like this, but it's really, really important, you know, setting intentions for the smallest of things, whether it's, you know, setting an intention for how you're going to show up to a meeting or a class or something like that. It's really important. And so setting the intention for a big project, of course, is also important. So setting intentions is just a great thing, and it's a tool that I've learned and started using a lot these last few years. So the number one is we are going to need to commit to doing it. Now, of course, I recommend getting the online course or listening to the book, the audiobook or reading, and you can do that alongside of these videos. I was kind of doing a mix of things. I was in a rush when I went through my tidying festival, or the first time I went through it, and I was having to tidy up and listen to the audiobook at the same time. So whatever works for you, but I definitely recommend getting, you know, again, the online course or starting to listen to the audiobook. But the first step after you've done that and you really know that you want this to be a part of your life is to commit, to say, I am going to do it. Because if you recall, basically, this should not be like a 10-year process. It's going to do it very quickly and swiftly as we can, but it will be like a committed thing. And trust me, you will love it if you do it. Again, teens, adults, whatever the age, you're going to love it. So let's commit, number one. And that, when we start to get into it, Natalie and I will be figuring out how we're going to commit. We're going to obviously commit on camera and ask you guys to commit as well. And we'll figure out some sort of ritual or ceremony of some sort where we make that commitment. Okay, so number two, after you commit, we're going to imagine our ideal lifestyle. Again, really, really important, because it's always important for us to imagine and dream of what we want that end goal to look like and feel like, and to really step into that. Because when we do that, remember, our brains don't know the difference between what's real and what's imagination. And so when we put the vision into our minds and visualize and step into that ideal lifestyle, our brain is like, yes, I love that. And it's going to help and like figure out all of the different ways to get there. So this is a really fun step and a very, very important one. And I'm really looking forward to that, because even though, like I said, I've gone through the tidying festival, it was kind of a very rushed situation, because I was basically, you know, it's a long story, but I had a home with a ton of stuff. I had to do something with it very quickly. I was in another home, and you know, so I kind of went through like a very rough draft of a tidying festival and haven't quite finished it up. So we're going to hopefully be finishing it again together. So I'm looking forward to imagining my ideal lifestyle and then going through that process with you guys. All right, so number 3 is, I've talked about this in maybe one or even both of the other videos, but the third rule is that we're going to finish discarding first. And what that means is there's a lot of like fun stuff that we do that once we figured out a category that sparks joy, like sometimes you want to hurry up and like figure out how you're going to place these things and how you're going to store them and stuff like that. But the rule is that you're going to finish discarding everything in your life first, and of course with loving gratitude, right? So there's a whole process of thanking it before and having that moment with it before moving on. But we don't get caught up in the fun, creative, like where's the home type of things. We're going to finish discarding completely, and then we'll get into that other stuff later. So that's rule number 3. Rule number 4 is that you probably got this already from the other ones, but you tidy by category, not by location. This is huge. I have tried to tidy and organize or discard so many times in my life before, and I'd always tried to do it by location, and it does not work. And so the KonMari method is to do it by category, which is absolutely genius, because we can never finish going through this process because our brains and our situations never finish, because we're not really doing it the right way. Because basically when you try to do it through location, you're never completing anything per se. When if you do like the storage, the coat rack closet, right? And you're like trying to like tidy that up. But the truth of the matter is it's the categories that we need to address. So when you're trying to look at, coats or whatnot, it just doesn't ever feel like it's ever fully done, because we might have coats or jackets or other clothes in other areas. And so we never really complete it. We just kind of arrange a location. So as an example, when you do your clothes category, which what we're going to do is our first one, you literally find all of your clothes from no matter where it is, right? So if it's in a coat closet, if it's in storage, like if it's in this room or that room, you're going to get all of the clothes and put it in one gigantic big pile, and then go through it once and for all of what sparks joy, thanking things, let it move on. And then after you've done that, you've officially checked off the clothes category. If you did it the other way by location, you would never get it done, right? Because if you did the coat closet and then you tried to do your closet and then you try to do another closet, it's too scattered. You're never really doing anything really. So it's by category, which is absolutely genius. And if you learn more about Marie Kondo, you'll see that she is legit been studying and doing this since she was a kid. She has seen countless clients and stories, and she's literally such an amazing expert. She has gone through just things that you wouldn't even understand until you listen to the book. Like for an example, when she's tackled on the kitchen category, she went and to some of the most busiest and best restaurants and like studied the kitchen and studied how they keep it clean and how they organize it. I mean, she is the real deal. So I definitely recommend, all of the things, but definitely the books for sure. She goes into a lot of detail. So, and doing it by category, not by location, has proven to be the most efficient and effective. So that is rule number 4. All right, rule number 5 is to follow the right order. So it's not that we pick our own categories and go, okay, well, I guess I'm going to organize my electronics today. Like there's an exact order, which again is why the audiobooks or the online course or whatever is really important, because you got to follow the right order. And there's a whole reason and philosophy of how she came up with that order, and trust me, it makes complete sense to go in the order. And so that's one of the overviews that we're going to do in the next few days, is going to talk about that order that we're going to follow. All right, number 6 is to ask yourself if things spark joy. Now, we are going to do an entire video on how to really engage and ensure that how do you know if something sparks joy. So don't worry, we'll kind of get into the nitty-gritty of that. But it's just important for you to know, for us to know, that it's the 6th rule. And it's because, a lot of times we can get into the process and we just start looking at things and we're like, okay, this, and it's like, no, we need to really take it seriously and really engage with each item and ask ourselves if it sparks joy. And again, we'll get into how that's done. So that is all. Those are the 6 basic rules of tidying by Marie Kondo and the KonMari method. Tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and touch on the order of categories, so you have a little bit of an idea of what that is going to look like for us. And that is all, folks. Thank you so much. Of course, I love you all, and let's continue on this wonderful path to creating our heavens on earth. And just so you know, if you don't know, on the JLOVES YouTube channel and also on IGTV, I have an entire heaven on earth planning list where it talks about, stepping through how to make our, because progress equals happiness. So basically, we go through an entire plan of how to start to create our heavens on earth. The Marie Kondo and the KonMari method is one really, really important piece. But I would recommend going through that Heaven on Earth playlist if you're interested, because it's really about making sure that we're well-rounded when we're moving towards this Heaven on Earth, right? So, but then again, you also don't even have to do that. You can just straight, if this process, the Marie Kondo and the KonMari method, is speaking to you, you can also just do this first, because to be honest, when it was my journey, I did not know or understand the Heaven on Earth planning at that point. I started with the Marie Kondo process. So completely up to you, whatever works for you. So that is all, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I hope you're doing fantastic. I love you, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Mwah.